The greatest lie you were ever told is that you are in control of your life. Psychology reveals a darker truth. Most of your daily actions are dictated by a primitive brain designed for a world that no longer exists. Your brain doesn't want you to be wealthy, fit, or respected. It wants you to be safe, fed, and comfortable. This is the biological survival mechanism that kept your ancestors alive in the wild, but today, it is the very thing that is killing your potential. Every time you choose the couch over the gym, or the mindless scroll over the book, you are being hijacked by your amygdala. This is the biological prison. Stop viewing your laziness as a personality trait. It is a systemic failure of your neurochemistry. Motivation is a fleeting chemical spark. Discipline is the structural engineering of your life. If you rely on feeling like it, you have already lost to the average version of yourself. Hit the like button right now. It is the first physical step in signaling to your brain that you are waking up. If you want to master your mind before it's mastered by others, join this 1% community. Subscribe. We are building a community of 100,000 elite minds. Join us right now and prove you are really willing to change your future. This is the circle where we hold each other accountable to greatness. Psychology proves that inspiration is the reward for action, not the prerequisite. There is a phenomenon known as the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains hate unfinished tasks. The hardest part of any journey is the first 60 seconds because your brain is resisting the change in state. It wants to maintain the status quo. Once you cross that threshold, your internal psychology shifts from resistance to completion. The elite don't have more willpower than you. They simply have a shorter bridge between thought and action. They don't give the brain time to negotiate. They operate on the principle of amor fati, a love of fate, where every obstacle is viewed as fuel for the fire. Most people are waiting for the perfect moment. The 1% knows that the moment is only made perfect by the sweat and blood you pour into it. We must understand the concept of cognitive reframing. The average person sees a failure and says, "I am not good enough." The architect sees a failure and says, "The system needs an update." You are the programmer of your own mind. If you don't write the code, someone else will write it for you. This is how social engineering works. Media, education, and toxic environments are constantly trying to install software in your head that keeps you weak, dependent, and compliant. To break free, you must become a hacker of your own psychology. You must delete the victim files and install the conqueror protocols. Many people watch these videos and forget them within minutes because they don't engage. Their brains treat this as productive procrastination. They feel good watching, but they do nothing. If you are one of the few who actually implements what they learn, comment "I am the architect" below. It's time to hold yourself accountable in front of this community. Stop planning the victory and start the friction. Share this video with one person who is wasting their potential. Sometimes, being a leader means waking up others before they drown in their own comfort. As the great writers and thinkers throughout history have noted, a man who is not capable of greatness is a man who hasn't faced his own darkness. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, warned us about the shadow. If you do not acknowledge your capacity for aggression, for ambition, and for dominance, those traits will turn inward and become depression and resentment. Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the Übermensch, the overman, who creates his own values and masters his own destiny. To become this, you must first burn the old version of yourself. You must weaponize your frustration. Look at your bank account, look at your reflection, look at the people who look down on you, and instead of being hungry, be obsessed. Integrate your shadow. Use that fire to fuel your late nights. A man with no teeth isn't peaceful, he is just harmless. There is no virtue in being a sheep. Become a monster, then learn how to control it. That is the definition of true character. Let's talk about the survival of the focused. In an age of infinite distraction, focus is the new IQ. If you can sit in a room for 4 hours and work on one single task without checking your phone, you have a superpower that 99% of the world lacks. Your ability to resist the novelty bias, the brain's craving for new, useless information, is what will build your empire. This is why most people fail. They have butterfly brains, hopping from one idea to the next, never digging deep enough to find gold. You must be the drill. You must go deep. You must be relentless. We must also discuss the philosophy of the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your problems are not your excuses, they are your training ground. If you are broke, that is your motivation to learn finance. If you are weak, that is your motivation to hit the iron. We are the most overstimulated generation in human history. Your dopamine receptors are fried. We have traded long-term empires for short-term likes. When you can get a hit of pleasure from a 15-second video, why would your brain want to work for a result that takes 15 months? This is the dopamine trap. The psychology of hyper-reality suggests that we are living in a world where the map is more important than the territory. We care more about how our life looks on a screen than how it actually feels. The 1% exits this simulation. They don't care about the applause of the masses, they care about the silence of their own self-respect. You aren't lacking talent, you are lacking boredom. Greatness is built in the silence that most people are afraid of. Psychology shows that creativity and deep work only happen when the noise stops. You must deliberately seek out discomfort. Cold showers, long walks without music, intense study sessions, these are the tools of the elite. Unshakable confidence is the art of being unreactive. It is the stoic calm in the middle of a storm. When you become the observer of your emotions rather than the slave to them, you become untouchable. You become the mountain that the wind cannot move. Consider the law of iteration. Successful people are not those who never fail, but those who fail the fastest. In psychology, this is called rapid prototyping of the self. Every mistake is just data. The average person takes failure personally. The architect takes it professionally. You are a work in progress, a masterpiece under construction. Don't be afraid of the mess. Be afraid of the stagnation. Think about the legacy you are leaving. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the concentration camps, discovered that those who had a why could endure almost any how. What is your why? If it is just for yourself, you will quit when it gets hard. But if it is for your family, for your future children, or for a cause greater than your own comfort, you will become an unstoppable force. The 1% don't work for money, they work for freedom and the mastery of their own soul. They understand that the pain of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of regret. Regret is a weight that gets heavier every year, eventually becoming a mountain that crushes you. Discipline, however, is a weight you choose to carry, and it makes you stronger every single day. Finally, understand the psychology of time. Most people think they have forever. They say tomorrow as if it's guaranteed. But the 1% operates with memento mori, the remembrance of death. They know that every second spent in mediocrity is a second stolen from their potential. This isn't about stress, it's about urgency. It's about realizing that you are the author of a book that has a finite number of pages. What will the next chapter say? Will it be a repeat of the last one? Or will it be the turning point where the hero finally wakes up? He who masters himself is mightier than he who conquers a city. This journey of 15 videos wasn't just about information. It was about a complete psychological transformation. You have been given the keys to the kingdom. The world is full of talkers, but it is owned by the silent executors. Silence the noise. Master the mind. You have the blueprint. You have the community. If you are still here at the end of this audio, you are already part of the 1%. Your attention span alone puts you ahead of 90% of the population. But being the 1% is a daily choice. It is a commitment you renew every single morning. If you want to ensure you never miss the advanced psychological tactics we are about to release, make sure your notifications are on. By not being part of this inner circle, you are leaving your success to chance. Join the elite, or accept your place in the shadows of regret. The choice is yours, and the clock is ticking. The mission continues